everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to do my weekly wrap up and life update. Please excuse the mess behind me. I'm actually on a week, maybe two, off from testing because of life, and I'm slowly cleaning around here. I was hoping to do my next videos sitting in front of my bookcases. Right now, I just don't have the energy. And yeah, so Saturday morning, my sister-in-law passed away. It was kind of a relief because she's now at peace, no longer in pain, no longer suffering. She went 20 days without food or water. She wasn't on IV drugs because she was terminal, or IV fluids because she was terminal. So she was in hospice. They did a great job of taking care of her. It was awesome. The hospice here in the city, we can't say enough good things about. It's tremendously wonderful. So I think we were more upset watching her suffer, and so her celebration of life, she didn't want a funeral or a wake. So her celebration of life is tomorrow. So I thought I'd hop on today and do my weekly wrap up. We're all doing okay. My husband is having his moments. I mean, it's his sister, so, and she was the one he was closest to. So it's really hard on him, but he went to work today. He was going to go to work yesterday. Things happened at work that were out of his control, so he couldn't work yesterday. So he went to work today. He's taking tomorrow off and then back to the grind on Thursday. So yeah. So I'm just wanting to say thank you for the prayers and thoughts. I did read them all. I tried to heart them all. I don't think I missed any, but if I did, I'll go back and do that later. But yes, thank you. They are much appreciated, and we're all doing good. I wouldn't say great, obviously, but we're doing good. So the books I finished were Exit, Pursued by a Bear by E.K. Johnston. I gave this a 4. It was really well written. Not realistic though. It's about a bunch of girls in Ontario that go to a cheer camp. And at this cheer camp, they have like a dance, and somebody handed her a drink and it was drugged, and she ends up getting raped. So once that happens, it's like she ends up leaving, obviously. And then she just wants to put it all behind her because she doesn't remember it, so it doesn't feel like it's happened to her. She wants to put it behind her. She wants everybody just to talk to her as normal. Everybody is accepting of it. Nobody thinks it's her fault, which is great. Her parents are very supportive. She's just hunky-dory, and it's just not realistic. That's one of the things, is she is very flat emotionally. She does not really act as if she's been raped. I know she can't remember it, but every report that I've read of somebody who's been drugged and raped is very emotionally scarred. Let's put it that way. They act like they've been raped. She acts like it's just another day. And as much as I really want the world to be more accepting and more loving towards people who are raped, and it's just not that way. So not one person thought she was doing wrong, and she didn't do wrong. It was not her fault in any way, shape, or form. She was just at a dance, and it happened. And she was left half in the water at the lake. What I'm saying, though, is people's reactions towards her were not how real life is shown, and I think that's detrimental. to people who read this because most people are not treated like that. Not saying it's the right way that people are treated, but it doesn't show a realistic way of how things are done. Even the police were very supportive of her, and I know the police around here are not supportive of people who are raped. I have firsthand knowledge of the police around here dealing with somebody who's been raped, and they are not supportive. They blame the victims continually, and they pretty much allow the perpetrators to go. So, is it right? No, obviously not. But I think that showing the support is great. More people need to be supportive of rape victims and not allowing this thing to happen, or giving the perpetrator a slap on the wrist and saying, yeah, go, I think it would have been better for rape victims, realistic, to show them realistically how things are probably going to happen. So yeah, it's hard because I'm not, saying that it should be that way. It's just, if a rape victim reads this book and thinks that everything's going to be hunky-dory and you're going to be fine, the therapist is going to think you're great, you're going to talk it out, or, she didn't even really talk it out. But it was all, great. If they read this book and see that it's great, and then in their lives it's not great, they're going to think that something's wrong. And that's what I'm trying to portray. Like, the whole entire school got her back, behind her, and her parents, and the support she got was great, but it's just not real. I hope I'm portraying that as well. It was a good book, but yeah, I just, she was emotionally flat. She was very cut and dried. Like, it was, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. It's going to be this way, it's going to be that way, and it, if she was having fun, it was just, okay, I'm having fun. It would, so yeah, that was missing from this. Okay, enough of that. Then I went on to read a short story, a very short story, and this was for, actually, for both of these. I know this was for the, okay, I read this for my summer romance book bingo, and it was read or YA contemporary, so there's that one. This one was for the Triple RC challenge, and it was to read something by Laurie Foster or Julianne Long. And the Julianne Long book for the June summer romance book bingo was Hot in Hellcat Canyon. I could not get that book at all. My library has books 2, 3, and I think there's a 4th book. Not the first. In no way, shape, or form. Nothing. So I couldn't read that one. So the ones that I wanted by Laurie Foster were just too long of a hold. So I think this book, or this prequel short story, is the start of another series, but it's based off of a series previously, which, again, I could not get. So I just read this prequel just to get an idea of her writing and, to fill in a slot. But it was Hard Knocks, and it's by Laurie Foster, and it's an ultimate novella. I've never read anything with MMA. I'm not a huge fighter fan. I can't handle people fighting, and it's not the blood or anything. It's just I see no use in watching people fight. If you hear Pebbles, she's on the gecko's cage trying to get him. We are looking after the leopard gecko again. So, for my son's school. So she likes to get him. Anyways, this was just like a snippet in time novella. And it's, I forget what their names are. But he is a fighter who was supposed to go to Japan for a big MMA fight. And he ends up, when he's practicing and sparring, he gets an injury. And because of the placement of the injury, he can't fight because it's a cut right above his eye and the blood would get into his eye. So he can't fight. So they all get together at this rec center that they practice at. And they watch their best friend, like the other guy, do his fight. And it's Gage. No, I believe it's Gage. And because Army was one of the Harper, I think. Yeah, Gage and Harper. And Cannon is his best friend that's fighting, and these characters you meet in the previous series, which is why I was saying that it's based on a previous series. There we go. So it was a really quick read. I read it in like an hour or so, and I gave it a 4. It was really good because you get a sense of the characters. So they've Gage and Harper have liked each other, but he was so focused on his MMA fighting and getting into this big fight that he kind of left her to go to another city to practice, and he didn't realize that he'd left her hanging. They had not had sex. They had just they were getting closer. And Harper felt that he was just didn't care. So you kind of see them coming together at this fight, and they end up not watching the fight, which is funny. But you really get a sense of the characters and the friends and the friendships, and all those other friends. Their stories are later, but so yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a 4. And then I finished This Pen for Hire by Laura Levine. It's book 1 of the Jane Austen mysteries. You really have to put aside your reality. It's not supernatural but oh, what was she? She's a freelance writer who writes brochures and obituaries and stuff like that. And this man comes and wants her to write a love letter to a fitness instructor that he's got the hots for. And she's like, but you're a nerd. You're never going to get her. And so she does anyway. She writes this letter. Lo and behold, he's arrested for murder because the fitness instructor has been murdered. She takes it upon herself to become a private investigator and try and figure out what's going on. It's hilarious. Did I give it a 5 or a 4? Anyways, it is completely hilarious. She does have this cat that kind of ignores her all the time, and her name is Jane Austen, and everybody jokes about her name. Yeah, it's funny. But she does kind of get into little twists and tangles, and you kind of know who's going to be doing what, but you're kind of hoping not. Yeah, so there's like the start of a romance, but things happen. So yeah, she knows he didn't do it. She tries to find out, and then so she goes to the place where the girl lived and meets all these different characters, and it's funny. It's hilarious. So yeah, I am definitely continuing on with this one. So that this one was for the Triple RC challenge, but I can't remember what the challenge was. Oh, I think it was Animal on the Cover, so I read that one. And then I think that's it for, yep. So currently reading I'm reading 4 books, all just in the beginning stages, except for one. This one is Claiming Her $1 Billion Birthright by Maureen Child. It's the first in the Jared series. She, Erica, she finds out, well, Don Jared, the father, the patriarch of this family, has passed away, and in his will he has said that his assets must be split. Is it 5 ways? And there's, no, 6 ways. Yeah, there's 4 boys, 1 girl, and then, yeah, so 6 ways. And there's only 5 in the family. So the lawyer has to go to her, and she's the daughter of another big tycoon. And he has to tell her that she is the daughter of this other big tycoon, Jared, and that in order to claim part of his estate, she has to go back to Aspen and work in the family resort. And that's the stipulation for all the kids. They all have to come back and work for the resort. So, yeah, and then, you know, she kind of likes the lawyer kind of likes her, but there's a stipulation in the will. So that's pretty much where I'm getting now, and it's 3/4 of the way through the book. So it's not really insta-love, but it kind of is. Anyways, so there's the first book. Then I started, well, I kind of started all 3 of these last night. I'm reading Grace's Forgiveness by Molly Jebber. It's book 2 in the Keepsake Pocket Quilt Novels. It's an Amish book in the turn of century, like 1900. And it's about these women who are midwives. And I don't think she leaves, but the first book, her best friend leaves the Amish for English, but she doesn't quite leave her roots, sort of deal. Grace is still in her hometown, and she just meets a man named Mark who has just moved to their town. And so yeah, that's all I know. But they make these quilts that have pockets in them, and you write a letter to their loved one and give it to them. And yeah, so there's that one. It is sort of already much better than the first one. So then I also started Joanna Lindsay's Love Me Forever. It's book 2. I don't know if there's a series name to it, but it's a trilogy. You meet this character in the first book, and it's about a year later. And this character, Luqman, is the laird of a big castle, but he is destitute, essentially, because his stepmother, as soon as his father died, his stepmother took it all and left. So now he has to find a rich wife to help, you know, with the bills. And since there's nobody in Scotland, he has to go to England. And the girl that he meets, or well, will meet, she was engaged to be married, and then her mother died, so she decides to do the 1 year of mourning. And her fiance went on his like year of fling thing, decided to take a 2nd year off, and then as soon as he came back is when her mother died. And he's not willing to wait for her. He dropped her like a hat because he racked up all these bills and he needs a rich wife, and she wasn't available, so he left. So that's pretty much where we are, and she's being shipped off to Charing Cross to hopefully find a husband. But her father wants to get her married because he wants to marry a widow, and the widow is not willing to live in the same house as another female. And her father is also pissed off because he threatens that if he doesn't like the man that she picks to marry, he is going to disown her and kick her out of the will, essentially. And she's like, that's fine, because I have my own money, because her mother made sure that when she died, she had money herself, and her father is pissed off about that. That's pretty much all in just this little amount right here. And then I'm trying to catch up because I finally got my own copy of the first one. And this is for the Summer Romance Book Bingo, sorta. If you have this, a book over 500 pages, you can use this one. I'm just doing like the read along with Sarah, and that is for Outlander. I've never read it before. I have the first 4 books. Spoiler alert for my book haul. I found Outlander, Voyager, which I realized that I had already had, and was it Drums of Autumn? Yeah, Drums of Autumn at the thrift store yesterday, and I had already had Dragonfly and Amber. So I have the first 4 books. I'm gonna, you know, do the read along. So I'm going to be using this for my Summer Romance Book Bingo as a book that I recently purchased because I just got it yesterday. And by the time you finish the book, it'll be the end of August. So there's that. And then these ones I'm reading. This one is for book 4, and it's the one where you have the 2 letters together. So billion, 2 L's, and that's for the Triple RC Challenge. This one is just because I think the library. For my Summer Romance Book Bingo is to read an Amish book. If this bookmark doesn't stay in. This one is for the Triple RC Challenge, and it's, I think it's read something from your favorite author, but it's, no, that's for the Summer Romance Book Bingo, which will be, I forget what it's for, but it's Challenge 6 for the Triple RC, and of course this one's for my Summer Romance Book Bingo. So that is what I'm going to be reading this week. I'm also going to try, once I finish $1 Billion Birthright, I have it downloaded, but it will not go on my Kobo. I have to read it on my tablet. Excuse me, which is Mr. Irresistible by Karina Bliss, and it's book 2. But that one's for a book set in Australia. So that is my weekly wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys are reading or what you're going to be reading this week. If you're participating, how far along are you in either the Triple RC Challenge or the Summer Romance Book Bingo? I so far have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. Actually, this one could be used as a book set in 2 different time periods for that challenge as well. I might use that one because I bought other books, a few other books. We'll see. But yeah, for time periods, I might use that one because the one I had chosen is The Witch's Daughter, and I don't know if I can get that. Oh, it's a library ebook, so we'll see. Anyways, that is my weekly wrap-up. Yeah, so if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, I'm happy to have you here, and I will talk to you later. Bye.